It'll mute it. Hey, Julie Gardner here with Rise Up Wealth. Have y'all been saving some money lately since we've last chatted? I hope so. Or at least looked at your money. Y'all, I got something good today. The last week we talked about how to buy your first home. Okay, that's exciting. But I have my expert friend here to talk about how to have extra money to pay for stuff, because that sadly is needed. So today I have Nikita Mathews with us. She will let you call her Nikki. Yay! She is one of my top 10 people that are most fun. But anyway, she's amazing. She is at AmFirst Credit Union. I don't know if y'all are Federal Credit Union anymore, are you?
We are AmFirst Federal.
Okay. I know that the logo changed a minute. So I have been banking with AmFirst for a long time. I like to explain to people because it's just like right down the road and it's easy in and out. That's important. Do you have a place you can easily deposit money?
Right. Absolutely.
Depositing money is such a happy thing when you have side hustles.
And we're happy to have you do it. So.
Thank you. Now, Nikita, I call her Nikita, but we'll call her Nikki for short so you can remember and find her. But she's had 18 years in the banking industry, specifically credit unions, and that's amazing. She is a financial education specialist. So she has my dream job, but I don't have that much years in banking, nor do I have the time to get it. They'd be like, girl, no. But she doesn't just teach money. Her goal is to help change the money mindset, which I'm going, you're talking my language. I love it. So and here's some cool stuff. If you ever need to go out at night, take her with you because she is a first degree level 2 black belt. Give me some hi-ya. How's that work?
Hi-ya.
You're not really vibing and giving off the vibe of Miss Piggy, but you are. Like I've got, hey, So can you bust a board?
I can break a board, yes.
How many?
It's been a long time. And so I'm just going to say one to be safe. That way nobody's disappointed.
Nobody's disappointed. And then if you catch her in a back alley, she might break your face. But anyways. Okay. Now, she also tries to take one international trip with her daughter. And let me tell you why she's on my top 10 favorite people list, because on my bucket list is just travel with her because she goes to the best places. But she's a delight and a champion for many causes. Every time I'm on LinkedIn, there she is in a whole new dress at a gala helping support somebody. Again, I need to be in that job. She has a master's of science in organizational leadership and getting her doctorate. Come on now. But here's what's exciting. She makes things simple for you to understand. That's why we have her here. So imagine you just bought your new home. You're so excited. You're on an IKEA budget for furniture and you're at Target filling it, spending all your money. But there's time for maintenance, right? So, Nikki, tell me this. Why is home maintenance so important? And what are some unexpected expenses people forget about? Talk to me. Talk to me about home maintenance.
Yes. So you're at Target spending all your budget. And then here I am on your shoulder, right? Telling you, hey, be mindful of what you're spending and how that looks for you, because home maintenance is something that is ongoing. This isn't typically a one-time thing. I say typically, but it never is. There's always something to be done or always something to prepare for. And I always like to tell people, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And that's the name of the game.
That's so true. Yes. I have lived in my house for, 20 years. I can't believe it. And I think, and it was not an expensive house, but because I live in a condo, but I think I've spent maybe, hold on, let me see, like $40,000 less than what my home cost on maintenance.
Funny you bring that up because a rule of thumb for home buyers or homeowners is to save 1% to 4% of the value of your home. So it's funny that you should mention that because that directly ties in to one of the key points that we like to use as a rule of thumb when it comes to saving for those expenses. Because again, it's not about if it will happen, it's when it will happen.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because I'm in like the starter home neighborhood. This is where
Mhm.
on their first home. This is where I came from my first home. I just didn't keep growing my family to have to expand my home. So y'all, I'm
Mhm.
rich. I have no children. That means I'm rested, and I can eat wherever I want. And being rich means I can eat at Chick-fil-A whenever I want to, as much as I want, because I'm not feeding 6 kids behind me. But anyways, so you have to
That's
know
right.
your reference, right? Hey, that's a bonus. Sometimes I can eat milkshakes whenever I want.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so people move into my little complex and then they're like upset when there's a maintenance fee. And by the way, a condo versus a townhouse means a condo has an assessment at any time at the board's desire. But it's not a terrible thing though either because they're maintaining things. So I'm not mad
Right.
about it. I have not mown a lawn since I was in elementary school, and my husband has not mowed the lawn for 20 years. Now I like pulling weeds, but hey, we're lawn free maintenance.
But you bring that up, which also brings us to, another concept. A lot of us, for example, my first home, my starter home is the home that I still live in. And I don't have a maintenance fee, but I do have an HOA fee. So there are certain standards that my housing authority, you know, development will require us to do, right? Keep your grass cut a certain inches or whatever that may look like. But you mentioned having to cut your grass. I don't live in a condo. And so that is my responsibility. That is an extra expense. And when you happen to be as lucky as I am to live next to neighbors who have a beautiful maintenance yard, manicured lawn, then I kind of have to step my game up, right? I can't come home and let their yard look better than mine. I've got to get some flowers planted. I've got to make sure that grass is green. And that costs money that people just don't typically factor in. So that some good points.
So would you say what are some common home maintenance things that it's so funny? And we should have been at a home improvement place or on a construction site to do this video. Sorry, folks, we're in my home studio. Not very exciting. But and you're not a home maintenance person. You're not a home contractor. Right. However, have you noticed that people are like, yep, these things happen all the time?
Yeah, I think about something as simple as your AC unit, or
that's not simple.
Well, sure, right? But that's not simple because that expense can go from, a $200 fill of some antifreeze or whatever it is, or a filter, right, to a couple $1,000 very easily. But I think about, for example, you mentioned earlier on some of the things that I enjoy doing is traveling. Well, when we came back from a European tour, I came home to a very warm refrigerator.
Don't drink the milk.
Exactly. Don't drink the milk. Don't eat the items in the freezer. Nothing, right? But that's not an expense that I was expecting that you think would be just a quick fix, right? I call the home warranty people. They send someone out. The part needs to be ordered. It won't be here in a while. Now, there we have it. So that is a perfect example of something small that has now turned into a much bigger issue.
My hot water heater leaked, and that was the whole, you got to get the carpet dried out, the subflooring done. Yeah. You might have to replace your hot water heater.
Right.
Sometimes, a neighbor down the street, their 18-year-olds were smoking on the back deck, threw their cigarette over the back deck, pine straw underneath. Didn't burn their condo. It went up the other person's, the neighbor's condo, trying to settle out of insurance. I don't know, 8 months? Because
that's not even your issue. That wasn't even an issue that then became an issue.
Yes.
I get it.
The homeowner ran out to turn on the hose, but the hose had melted already from the fire.
Oh my word.
Oh my gosh. We all were out in the street at 2 a.m. going, oh, great flame shooting in the sky and everything.
Looking at the teenagers who are sitting there like, well,
Yeah, what? Yes. So that windows are a big expense. The appliance, yes. And so what are some ways people can fund this?
So, like we mentioned, a rule of thumb is to save 1 to 4% of the value of your home. So you should start that immediately or whenever you can, right? I mean, preferably sooner rather than later, but you can open multiple savings accounts at your banking institution, right? Studies show that if you label your savings, what you're saving for, then you are more likely to continue to save for that. So what I mean by that is I'm going to open an additional savings account, preferably someplace that I don't maybe have access to at all times, because out of sight, out of mind. And I can label that home repair or home maintenance. And then that way I know when I'm putting my dollars into this separate account that it is for that. And again, my mind, by seeing the title, by seeing the name of the savings, my mind tells me that this is for something specific. So I am more inclined to continue to save for that. So that's a huge way to save for that unexpected, expected expense, is to open multiple savings accounts. Another way that you could potentially save for home maintenance or home repairs, warranties are up in the air, but that is a form of savings, right? You're putting into something that you hope when something happens, it will pay out. And so warranties are one of those things, you've got 12 eggs in one basket, you've got a dozen in the other. It really just depends on how you want to view that and what you think about, warranties. But those are two common ways that I would say that people save.
And I think it also depends on how good are you at saving.
That's also good.
Because some people they just blow right through it. They can't.
Absolutely.
They just blow right through it. And then, and sometimes when you're in a married situation, one person is a better saver and one's a huge spender. Just don't even tell that spender to exist.
Well, here's the thing, I definitely agree with that, right? Let me keep this to myself, but generally speaking, we all have those urges, right? You all have that. We all have those things that just happen. And so a rule of thumb for savings, although that's not necessarily the topic here, out of sight, out of mind, like I mentioned before, finding an institution that you don't have access to on the ready. And by that, I mean, don't have a debit card. Maybe I have to drive to that institution in order to withdraw funds, or setting it so that it's an automatic transfer. It automatically comes out of your account. Because if I have to think about it, then I certainly can find something else to save for. Whereas if it automatically comes out of my paycheck or out of my account on Wednesday the 15th, then I don't even have to think about that. That money's going there and I'm just moving on with life. So, you have to find ways to be creative that work for you, I think, is what's important here.
And so I do recall somebody that bought a grill because they wanted a grill for the summer, and they put it on their home improvement store credit card. They opened a credit card for that. So credit cards are not terrible if you know how to play the money game. So if they have 6-month no interest, what does that even mean in real life terms for somebody that's just, they don't even know what cash looks like. They just know what their cash app looks like, right? It's a fact.
Right.
Some of these people don't know how to write stuff on their check. So what does that mean?
Very true. I mean, this is
what
real,
is 6 months same as cash credit card at that home improvement place? What does that mean?
It simply means the interest is still accruing while you have these funds set aside that they've given you for this 6 months, but you need to pay that back in 6 months. And if you don't have a plan to do that, this is probably not going to be the best option for you, because there could be a variable of things that happen, right? You could have a balloon payment at the end. They will then tack on all the interest that was accrued over the 6 months that at the time was deferred. So there's a number of things that you need to be aware of when thinking or going into a situation with that mindset. But it is important to remember, like you said, debt isn't bad. Credit isn't bad. It's the mismanagement of it. And so once you learn how to manage it properly, then you can definitely use it in your benefit. And having a store card isn't horrible if that's what you're going to use it for, home repairs, but you've got to have a game plan to pay that money back, and you have to be responsible. So
Okay, so
that's
one day
important.
I woke up and there was this is how my house looked. There was just a brick color and then a chair rail and a butter color. But I woke up one day, I was like, it's gonna change today. It was hilarious. I don't know what happened, but I was like, I've got to renovate the house. So I went to AmFirst and got a HELOC. Can you explain what a HELOC is? What?
Yes. I said, well, thanks for being part of the family.
You're welcome.
So your HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Now, every institution operates differently. You may have a fixed rate. There may be a variable rate where you can draw money off of what the equity is in your home, the value of your home versus all these other variables. So that's what a home equity loan is. The reality is a lot of people may not qualify for that depending on how you purchased your home. Some people may have taken that equity out up front. And so there's a few other things to think about. But like you mentioned, you've been in your home for some years now. You certainly have built up the equity in that to have some to kind of draw off of, which is another plus of home ownership. It's an asset to you. It is something that you can use to leverage if you need in the future. So that's a great point to bring up.
My friend needed a new roof. And so I had some roofing guy. I talked to everybody. I can't go places without seeing someone I know and talking to people. Hello, stranger. I think I was born in the category of the Walmart greeter. That was me. I just
absolutely. Yes.
So they said, I said, oh, roofers. Okay. What company and where do you work? And they said, and then I'm always thinking, who can I introduce to them that might needs them as a resource? And they said, who do you know that? And I was like, okay, I know my friend needs a new roof. And he goes, well, have her call us because it may be an insurance issue. So sometimes you just need to go talk to a professional. And I think it's so funny. I talked to some people that are new to the world of adulting, and they're like, I'm afraid. I don't want them to come. I don't want to take up their time and not hire them. That's okay.
That's right.
It is okay. And I just put Nikita's email. So if you ever have questions, call her or email her. Don't call her, email her. And then that is not a phone number, and ask her for some advice or some help. Because my girlfriend, she goes, how do I pay for my roof? I go, get a home equity line of credit. And she goes, how do I do that? And so just walking her through, and you don't have to know everything in life as an adult. You just have to know other people that do, right?
Absolutely. And now, I mean, that you mentioned that, like you mentioned, you were blessed enough to be part of the AmFirst family. And so, we have experts or people here, and I'm sure there are other institutions that do, right? But finding somewhere that you can go in and ask questions is so important. And so, for example, you come into an AmFirst branch, we'll happily answer the questions that you have, and hopefully we can find a product or be able to assist you. But wherever it is that you're banking, you should feel comfortable calling them and asking questions and trusting that they are walking you through the process and what's best for you. And that is a perk. Shameless plug for credit unions here. That is a perk of being a member of a credit union. And again, no shame to any banking industry, but that's one of the primary differences between banks and credit unions is that we are a people's people, and we care about you, and we're going to make sure that we recommend the best product for you. And quite frankly, the same should go for your insurance agencies, right? You should be able to call them and say, hey, this is the issue. And hopefully they'll be able to give you the correct resource.
So you had mentioned being a member of the credit union. What is the difference between membership and then just being a banking client? What's the difference?
Absolutely. So you're not just a number at any credit union that you go into. Again, we are a people's people. Our mission as the credit union industry is people helping people. So when you come in and open your share account, have created a share into the credit union. You are a shareholder with that $5 or whatever your credit union requires you to have maintained in that account. That's the minimum, which allows you a say in how we operate and how we do things. Most of our credit unions, you are able to be part of the board if you so choose. You have to go through the proper channels, but that is open. Our board members, and some credit unions are set up where their board members get paid, but by and large, our board members do not. And even if they are, our decisions, our rates, the products that we have, the services that we offer are all geared to benefiting our members. We absolutely get no benefit. And we are not for profit. So that means we don't make money off of you, which is the key there. We aren't driven by getting your money. Do we need it to operate and to, how business runs? Absolutely. But that is not the key. Whereas at a bank, I can't say the same.
Well, my husband, he is in the car sales business.
Okay.
So he is so funny because yes, they do financing at the dealership, but otherwise, like, stop at AmFirst on your way there,
right?
Because I know your credit union does amazing rates. So
we do,
yeah,
we do.
Okay, so on home maintenance, then you said 1 to 4% for home maintenance. Yes. How much do you think, if someone hasn't bought their first home yet, what percentage of their income should they put towards a house or living?
So, well, I think it depends on how much of the home you're trying to look for, right? You should always be framing. Let me say this. Let me pivot here and say that we all have these dreams of homes that we want to live in, or what we think our first home is going to look like, or the neighborhood that we want to live. And then when you get down to the nitty gritty, you find, I can't afford that. Yep. Right? That's not reasonable.
Right.
So when we talk about how much of your income should you plan for your first home, a number of factors come into play here, right? Are you going to be required to have a down payment? Because that's huge. How much is the mortgage going to be? And then you have to think about inflation. Just because your mortgage now is $1,100 does not mean in the next 2 years it will remain the same, because taxes and all these other things come into play. So I think making smarter decisions, making sure that you aren't biting off more than you can chew, right? And being realistic with yourself, sitting down, having conversations with your banker, sitting down, having conversations with your mortgage specialist, and they're going to give you some things for you to think about. There are a number of resources that are available online for you to go and use, meaning mortgage calculators and all these things for you to play with some numbers to just, again, be realistic. And I think people commonly choose the first home as this is going to be the end all be all. And a lot of times that's not the case. And if it is, it's okay. You aren't keeping up with the Joneses. They're keeping up with you. You do what works best for you and your family and your income, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to pay. I didn't mean to make it rhyme, and I was trying to think of.
See how cool she is.
I love it. That's true. So
there's truth every time it rhymes, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I so appreciate you, because one thing that I would love for my viewers is to know is to, one, start being able to put their money into a house versus putting it into an apartment. But, you got to do what you got to do. But if you need to review a budget, feel free to email Nikita and have her answer questions, work through a budget with you. Money is important. It affects us every day. It makes a difference whether we eat a Chick-fil-A or the steakhouse, and
it's nothing to be afraid of. I want your viewers to know that it's nothing to be afraid of. Money is a scary topic. Budgeting can be, a punch in the gut, right? When you sit down and kind of get down to the nitty gritty. But I think it's important to just remember that there are resources available. And really, it's about being honest with yourself, where you are, where you have been, and where you want to go. And knowing that there are people like myself and other people across various industries who want to support you and ultimately see you thrive and succeed And like I said before, I kind of threw it in, but one of my key little phrases is we aren't keeping up with the Joneses. They're keeping up with us. You don't have any
Oh, I
points
love
to
it.
prove. So
And you have a saying that you do, and I don't have it written down, but something about it's not a setback.
oh, it's a comeback. Absolutely. It's not a setback. It's a comeback. You have to see yourself through. And like I always tell people, I am here for transformational change. It's about how you think about money. And a lot of times we operate off past trauma and things that we have experienced in life or how we viewed our parents or all these other factors. And again, it's about transformational change, viewing money in a positive mindset. You see a setback and I see a comeback.
I love it. Absolutely, because it is a tool and we can
Yes,
use it to work for us, not against us. So if you need to
absolutely.
rewrite your money story, if you are currently writing a great story, please reach out to Nikki, and thank you so much. And if y'all have questions and are in Alabama, is AmFirst outside of Alabama?
We are not currently.
Well, you got to come on to good old Dixieland to get you some AmFirst. Thank y'all for joining us. Please tune in. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Feel free to reach out if you have certain topics. If you want to present some of your financial genius, let me know. And Nikki, have an amazing day. You're the
Thank you
best.
all. I appreciate you. Ah, thank you.